HOD that Mabilo. And the petitioners, the Green Organic Vegetable NPC. You are all welcomed. Libitso la ka ke mo Fere Jafta Mokoena ke modula setulo wa komiti ena. Ke tla qala mane ho mme a beileng pene molomong o ga ipulela hore ena ke mang.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Amelia Chabalala. Thank you.
And we'll come in that row.
Thank you, Mdula Stulo. Libitso laga ki Molefi for co-member ya committee.
Good morning, everyone. I'm David Mackay. I'm also a member of this committee.
Dumelang, lebitso la ka ke Nthabiseng Kgarekwe, ke setho sa komiti ena ya parliament. Ke a leboha.
No, thanks very much, honorable members. We are going now to administer oath or affirmation, starting with the department. The HOD will stand and indicate members of his team that are going to engage the portfolio committee, or rather the petitions committee, so that they can also affirm or take an oath. Mepsele, we are in your capable hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Ndate Mabilo.
Good morning, honorable members and chair. I just wanted to understand, I brought a bigger team so that if there are some far loose ends, some of the colleagues that are involved could provide explanation. But in terms of talking, I think 4 will talk. But now my question is, if at a later stage or during the process, there is a need that one of the colleagues that did not take oath must speak, will it be still allowable to then request that member to take oath and speak? Or if now they do not take oath, it means for the entire process, they will not be able. If that's the point, I will try and let most of my team members take oath. But if we can still amend at a later stage, if there's a need, then I'll only take about 4, and where there's a need, they will then at that point take an oath. Your guidance will be appreciated, Chair.
No, thanks very much. Let's allow the 4 to take oath. If the need arises going forward, we'll then allow that individual then to take an oath as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm ready to take it.
Thank you, Chair. Ndate Mabilo, good morning.
Morning.
I'm over here.
Morning.
Morning. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I will be taking an oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please state your full names for the record.
Tsepo Mthuli Mabilo.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Ndate Mabilo.
Thanks. From my team, I will allow Naledi.
The name of the extension officer, please.
Thank you. Ndate Lotshwara, you may stand. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I'll be taking an oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
My name is Tabiso Joseph Letwara.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, Ntate Letshwara. Ntate Tawana. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An affirmation,
And do you consider this affirmation binding on your conscience?
I so do.
Please just move the mic towards yourself. Thank you.
I so do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Aslam Ubaidullah Mpolisi Tawana.
Do you declare what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please affirm.
I so affirm.
Thank you. Tate Malete.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath,
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Mwekezi Johannes Malete.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
You may move the mic. Yes. Thank you. Ma'am, will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
I will be taking an oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your full names for the record.
I'm Mampe Mokgatla.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Ke a leboha, mme.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mepsele. So with that, we are now going to go over to the petitioners. Bontate le babedi fela? Right. Ke ntate Moloi kapa Mokoena kapa Ramatsa? Ke bo mang ba teng?
Ke Ntate Moloi le Ntate Mokoena.
Okay. Right. Jwale legislature mona hendate bontate ha o bue fela ra itlama hore re nka kano kapa re etsa boitlamo molemong wa hore ho tlo ipuele di nnete fela hobane ho sa bue nnete hore ba kela mathata o sa so re batla hore batho ba bue le rona ba bue nnete and ke tla kopa he le emele le babedi ha be le tlo bua le babedi ramolao wa rona mona le nkise kano kapa boitlamo re kgone ho tswela pele. Thank you. Alamompele. Thank you, Dadege. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, sir.
Kgotso mme.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
Ke tlo nka kano.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Samuel Wilson Moloi.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth
Affirmative.
and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Ke a leboha. Ntate Dumela. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
Taking an oath.
Taking an oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes, correct.
Please state your full names for the record.
Johannes Mokoena.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Ke a leboha, ntate.
Sworn in.
Thank you. Thank you. Chairperson, thank you.
No, thanks very much, Madam Tiba. We are going to do it this way. The Petitions Committee members have the petition in front of us. We have gone through that. But we are going to request that you put it on record, explain to ourselves briefly what your petition is all about, and most importantly, what is it that the organization requests the committee, the Petitions Committee, to assist them with? What form of assistance do you want from us? Because from where we are seated, we do have an engagement. We've got an open channel with the department. What is the frustrations that the department is giving you that made you to come and say to the province of the Free State, office of the speaker, that we should assist? What is that assistance that you want? That's what we are going to engage on. And after that engagement, we'll be getting to the department to find out why they are not doing as you are requesting. The intention really is that beyond this sitting, that we have a very smooth relationship between yourselves, and that they are assisted where we can, and that we execute the mandate of the department in ensuring that we provide service to the people of the Free State. That will be the short and sweet of it all. And Ademolo, we are in your hands. Can you please brief the committee and the department about your frustrations briefly, and also indicate the assistance that you, as an organization, expects from all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. As I've stated my name before, I just want to confirm something, Chair. Should I go through the whole initial or petition, or should I just summarize it and give our...
A ke leboha, ke kopile hore wa e summarize, we watla o tla ka bokgutshwane, ha o qeta o hatelle haholonyana ho seo le se lebeletseng hore le kopa ho thuswa jwang. That is what is important to ourselves. Thank you.
Ke a leboha, Chair. Jwalo ka the secretary ya mokgatlo wa Green Organic, ka bokgutshwane fela bothata bo re nang le bona le lefapha la rona la temo ke ditshebeletso. Re sokola ka ditshebeletso, ba re sokodisa ka ditshebeletso haholo. And then so mohlomong re ka kopang ho thuswa ka sona ke sa go lefapha la temo le hlahise letsoho. Re a tseba hore di-project di ngata, but re kopa letsoho le be teng, ho be le progress as re le di famara tse ntjha lefapheng mona kapa fielding ena ya temo. Ke a leboha.
No, thanks very much, Mr. Moloi. HOD, Agwe Manolendat, what are the problems? Thank you.
Chairperson, Honorable Chair, thank you very much. I would just, we have the full petition, and I'll just touch on some of the points briefly. I know that, Chair, there was an issue on PES process, which was put in that no positive response was received. Maybe just to explain to the committee that the PES process was actually led by the National Department, and through our support in the province, we went to our data, and we realized that from the group, only Mr. Twala was the one that applied, and Mr. Twala received. But the principle also, just like any process, is that if you have applied, and there is always a likelihood that you may not be successful. Not being successful does not mean that government is not doing what it's supposed to do. There was a criteria, there was some inspections that were done without really going into detail. So I'm just saying in that regard to say there was nothing malicious, but as it stands now in our records, one member from the 6 applied and that one member received. So from where we are seated, there is no challenge in that regard. The second issue was training, complaints around training. Also going back to our information, it was a request that was just not necessarily in a process. You know, from the CAS process, it will close and there will be requests for this and that. This was just a training, a request that was done outside of the process, but still being done out of the process. 2 received, Mr. Twala and Mr. Moloi received training, so we did positively respond in that regard. There was also a request to profile the farm, that the profile must be submitted in terms of the records that I have received. At some point, there was an issue from our side that the computer crashed with the information, but ultimately, the information, I guess my rally voice is causing a bit of a problem. Maybe I must speak a bit far from the mic. As far as the information that we had, information was shared and the matter was resolved. And then there was also an issue raised on CASP, that the beneficiaries applied for CASP. When I follow up with the story, by the time when the application was done, it was done outside of the process. Remember, there is a closing date, and the instruction generally will be anything submitted outside of the closing date should not be considered, just like any other process that has opening time for submissions to be done. Another allegation, so that was the issue there, as far as I was briefed. Another issue was that money was deposited in an account of a individual instead of the group. The feedback that I received was that this process followed the normal process. Key also to highlight is that we have given the group, I think, about 250 for food security. And this 250, it was not necessarily out of a process that they applied for, but it was just an additional step as we reprioritize funds. We took additional step to say, now that we have complaints from this group, and we, at the stage, we have not really funded them, let us try and assist them with food security. So I'm just trying to demonstrate that there was deliberate action from our side to intervene and try and solve the challenge. And then there was a matter also on office space, unavailability of Mematla. Mematla can only be accessed from a house and so on. That matter has been resolved. The office now is operational. Yeah, I think those were just at a very high level the issues that were raised and the understanding of the department. My colleague here, the district director, have engaged also with the group, have had meetings to try and resolve. There seem to be also group dynamics that are involved, and with group dynamics, it depends who is narrating the story and which angle is then a story coming from. But for purposes of this meeting, I don't really think it's necessary to go deep into that. But what I can just confirm is that as a caring government, we have been trying to work with the group and to find solutions to move forward. If the committee is having appetite to listen to what actions have been taken and what has been agreed upon in the trying to do the way forward, I will allow that Tawan to come in. I'm in your hands for guidance, Chair.
No, thanks very much, HOD. There are a few things before before we move forward of clarity from where I'm seated. The first issue is, did I hear you correctly saying that the money was deposited in an individual's account?
It was the accusation. The accusation was that the money was deposited in an individual account. As I investigated and I discussed with my team, sorry, Chair, for coming in without raising my hand, my apology. As I discussed with the team indicated to say no. This specific beneficiaries followed the normal process. Normal process meaning you will be then requested to open an account specifically for transacting with the department when we fund you. If you have been funded previously, it means that, and the arrangements are still intact, it means that we can continue with that account. If we are funding you for the first time, then it means new arrangements should be done because we need a co-signatory to be part of the account, so that money must only go out for what is meant for, as part of our responsibility to guard funds and make sure that the funds go out for what they were approved for and appropriated for. Thank you.
Let's get it, said it right from the word go. HOD, you are going to manage your team, all right? They are going to speak to us through you, as we speak to them through you, because you are the accounting officer. If the MEC was here, the MEC would be the entry point from ourselves. Okay, you are going to direct. I see they've got an appetite to raise hands and that, which is good. We want that information, but it must come through you, because we don't want a situation where people just speak without your consent, and at some point you disown what they are saying. The next question on our HOD is the issue of the 250. I was just giving you a chance to caucus and finish.
My apologies. I think there's a point that I just wanted to add.
No,
He
that's
was
fine.
getting it through me. Maybe
No.
if we can give him a chance just to add it.
No, he will. You'll allow him to do that as we proceed. But can you just indicate to us, the 250, was it for? And is it being used by them? Is it still available to them as we speak? Can they go out there and access that money because you allocated it?
In terms of our processes, Chair, the beneficiaries cannot at any stage access the money. We need to make sure that the due processes are followed, and we are at a point where every documentation and process have been ticked right. Then the co-signatory and the beneficiary can then go. So I will allow the team from the district to talk to the readiness of the project. But ordinarily, the beneficiary cannot alone go to the bank. It is the design of the system and process that the beneficiary must not be able to go alone to the bank and withdraw money, because we don't want money that was meant for food security to buy a Mercedes-Benz tomorrow. So this is part of our checks and balances in our process. But on the status of the project, I will allow the district director to guide in that regard. Ntate Tawan.
It does. The 12,000 that was used from this account, how was it accessed? If that is what the district director is going to reflect also on, let it be. But before we do that, Honorable Fogo.
Thank you very much, Chair, and the department. Chair, in addition to your question, Chair, I just want to check with the department, because they said there was an allegation around the bank issue. But now they didn't state it very clearly so that we must understand. After the allegation, the investigation came out, and it was clear that the bank that the company it was using, it is the right bank account. Now, what is the problem about activating the same bank account rather than to go and open the other account? That is my question, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Khaurekwe. Honorable Makede after.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I just want to check with the department that they did communicate to the organization about the processes on how they can access the money. And if they did that, what is left now from the organization for them to access the money? The other thing, Chair, when I see the petition here, it states that Ms. Ramabenyani came to the organization, abatshepisa hore o tla kgutlela ho bona hore ba thusetswe ka training le food security. And then unfortunately o bo kena HOD a motjha, and then HOD a motjha ha kena ke mo ke sa tsebeng hore na o se la fitisetswa HOD wa pele, and then wa kena o motjha. Ha o kena o motjha ke mo ho romelwang ntate Letshwara hore a ye a lo utlwisisa, a lo kopana le the organization itself. Ntate Letshwara o tlile, and then a kopana le the organization, a ba promise hore the MEC o tla tla a tlo kopana le bona hore a tlo utlwa mathata a bona ke a feng le hore ba thusana ka tsela e feng. So ile ya fella mono, ene ka nako re buang ka yona modulasetulo ke ka 2024, and now we are in 2026, and still we are still talking about the processes. So re batla ho tseba hore nako ena e ngata e senyehileng ho no ntse ho etsahalang hore ba se ke ba fumana thuso. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Khaurekwe. Honorable Makai.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I've got a few questions, if you just bear with me, to both the petitioners and the department. First of all, I'm really confused about this 250,000 rand. First, the department did a survey which indicated that just to do the fencing would cost 500,000. But somehow they then only allocated 250,000. Of this 250,000, 12,000 has been used, has been determined, but then it was frozen due to by what the HOD has just referred to as a wrong bank account. But then the bank account has been verified, and this is adding on to my colleague, Honourable Forko's question, is once it was verified, it is then still frozen, and people still can't use any of the funds. So it's not clear what the barriers preventing the utilization of the allocated funds are. And then the communication, and even if it is now, it's concerning that the petitioners had to approach the legislature before any resolutions were found. For 2 years, this has been going on. So for 2 years, these people could not move forward, could not carry on. And at the same time, I understand that there are administrative problems within the petitioners' organization themselves, and this is directed at the petitioners. You've removed directors, then you've added new ones. So are they up to date? Is the department got that information? And was all the correct documentation for the various grants that you applied for given to? And then, you know, there's a massive confusion regarding the eligibility for the PES, the CASP, the Letsima support, etc., etc. Can the department clarify the selection criteria, application process, and the reasons of any of the rejections or delays? Because there's a massive problem. It seems to be a communication problem between the department and the applicants. And at the second time is the applicants, did you follow up timeously on this and ask for assistance? Because it also says that there's all the documents keep mentioning training. Now I have a problem with the training because it doesn't specify what training. There should have been a business plan with the application. in most applications that ask for a business plan. So the business plan would normally indicate that you have a view or a vision of how you're going to run this. You have a mission, you have a statement of what qualifications, what skills you have to apply for the specific application. And then that would determine the type of training that the department would have to implement. So my question to the petitioners here is, what training did you request? And how did you require drivers for a tractor? Because I see the tractor wasn't working properly. Did you require technical assistance? Did you require just normal general assistance? What training did you require? From what aspect are you looking at the people and the beneficiaries? So there's also a question around that. And then last but not least for this round, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, I would like to have another round, but I need answers in this because I don't want to confuse too many. The reference to the internal divisions of the petitioners. The current court board composition and signatory structures, if they are up to date, are they compliant with SIPCA and the department's requirements? Because that could be hindering your access, and I'm not giving any way forward for the department to maybe use this as the excuse for holding back the funds. Because I also find the departments, and this is back at the department, your failure of communication and access to the petitioners, instead of assisting them to get this funds quicker, you've withheld communication and it had to be brought before this board. So I'll hold at this stage there, Mr. Chair.
Thanks very much, Honorable Mackay. Before the department responds, ke batla ho ya ho di petitioners with your two questions, Honorable Mackay. Ho bonahala ho tswa ka ho lona ka mono ntate Moloi hore le boetapele ba green organic budula bo tjhintjhile bo stable ana jwale ho etsaetseng batho ba keneng bao ba kene ka mokgwa o nepaetseng kapa ho etsahala jwang hona hlalosang na hona le dikgohlano ka hara lona tse etsang hore tshehetso e ska tla ka mokgwa o tshwantseng e tle ka teng ho etsahalang re feng le lona re jwetse hore because you're also accountable. You come to us here and cry, but you must also make sure that your side of the story is also holding water. Hlalosa hona ho etsahalang ka ho lona ka moo baholo ba ka.
Ke a leboha tjhe. Ka bo kgutshwane fela mokgatlo wa rona ha o soka o eda batho hangata. Re ile ra qala mokgatlo re le 7, and then it was on the 18th July 2023 and re register mokgatlo, and then it happened that along the way we add another 2 eleng bosi ba babedi, then we were 8. Laba re applyela the funding re ba edile 2024 kgweding ya bo 10. I just want to confirm the date. In the kgweding ya bo 10, yes, 2024 kgweding ya bo 10 when we added them, and then ho etsahala hore ha ba perform hantle. They were not, some of them were not attending the meeting without reporting or apologies and stuff. Then it happened to hore ria montsha. Then since re le bakalo o tla mo sale re le bakalo, and then ho etsahala hore this year due to this internal dynamics or group dynamics ra be re ntsha bontate ba bang hape ba bararo due to their statutory and fiduciary duties as Companies Act 71 says. So re ba ntshitse hantle, we followed the right procedure. Then since then, ha re ka tloha re edile ba bang after that. So the company, I can confidently say it's stable right now. Thank you, Chair.
You said when you started, you were 7, you added 2 ladies, one was deregistered, you were 8, and now of late you deregistered 3. Does it mean that your company is now constituted of 5 people that are now members of that particular company?
Yes, sir. Right now, the company is having 4 directors. Just to correct, we were 8, and then we removed 1, and then we removed 3. So we are currently 4 directors.
And being reduced from the original survey to 4 now, I'm not a fundi in terms of legalities around the Companies Act and what have you. But moving from 7 directors to 4, doesn't that have any legal implications? Will you be able to respond to that, or should I refer it to legal people?
Yes, I can.
Proceed.
Okay. Hane re qala, when we firstly removed the first lady, as I mentioned, we were 8. Let me not use the initial one, we were 6, and then we added the 2, so we went to 8. So when we removed these 2, we were 8. And now, according to Schedule 1 of Companies Act, the company or the directors or the board of directors has a right to vote the directors out who are not performing or are not submissive to their judiciary and statutory duties. So we voted them out following the Schedule 1 procedure. And then these 3 ones that we have removed, we also followed the very same procedure, which the CIPC requires. But I don't refrain you, Chair, from consulting or finding or getting the right guidance. Thank you, Chair.
Actually, there are a number of questions and directed to yourselves. Now you can use your entire team to respond. Honorable members will be listening very attentively. They will have a second round of questions, and then from there we'll map way forward. HOD, please, with your team.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I will start first with Ntate Letshwara. A number of the issues that were touched are part of the investigation report, including the money personal account. It may also touch on issues of PES requirements and 12,000. And then from there, we will then move to Ntate Tawan, who will be more forward-looking in terms of what are the engagements that they've recently or that they've been transpiring, and what are the agreements on the table, including, and he may also touch at a very high level on his own understanding on the group dynamics and the impact that it has on the project. But let us first start with Ntate Letshwara and then to Ntate Tawana. If Ntate Malete wishes to add on top of Ntate Tawana, I will also allow that, because he was in the environment for the longest time, so he may have certain information that Ntate Tawana does not have. Thank you very much. Ntate Letshwara.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, HOD. Chairperson, I don't think I will be long, but I think maybe there's a matter that we just need to provide clarity on. particularly in relation to this issue of the bank accounts. The question of the bank accounts and money being deposited into a personal account of a person, it is totally unrelated to green organic. What had happened is that we've got a program called Common Age Development at the department, whereby we support various common ages across the province with infrastructure and all those things. So one of the common ages that were supported is this common age of Lentley. So they received the money, a bank account was opened for that purposes, and money was transferred so that they can be able to procure everything, all the goods and services that they need at the common age. But then an allegation came from members of the Green Organic who had nothing to do with the common age and the money that the common age received. And Green Organic were making allegations that the money that the department supported the common age, that money was then transferred into a personal account of the chairperson, I think, of the common age. Of course, we investigated the matter and we ascertained ourselves that that was not the case. The normal process was followed. A bank account was opened by the common age through the common age committee resolution, and the money was accordingly transferred. So no money at all was transferred into a personal account of a common age chairperson. That's the first one. So it's totally different from the 250,000. Now, the 250,000 chairperson, the 250,000 support came as a result after the complaint was received. I think it was on the 24th of November, 2024, from the legislature. Then immediately the member of the Executive Council, Mayor Elsabi Rockman, responded and allocated myself to go investigate the case. I think Ndade Twala will correct me. I think I went to Lentley on the 7th of December to go investigate the matter. I met with the team, with the group, and we went through each and every single allegation. So the recommendations that I went back with to the department to say, MEC, these people seem to be really passionate about agriculture. They may not have applied, but perhaps there's something that we can do under food security to assist them, because most of them are backyard gardeners. Maybe that money will assist them at least so that they can start something for themselves, because I think they had a lease of a 5-hectare plot or something. And that lease, they entered into it in 2023, but it was to expire in, I think, 2020, about 2026. Yeah, it was going to expire. So either way, even if they had applied for the CASP conditional grant, they would have not met the criteria because of the term of the lease. It was too short, but eventually I think the lease was extended to 2029. But at that time, the application, even if they had applied, I don't think it would have been considered because of the lease. But either way, they did not apply. We went and checked our records. They had not applied for conditional grant funding at that particular time when I met them. There was a question, Chairperson, about our processes in terms of application for conditional grant funding. Just shortly and in simple terms, as HOD had explained, we open applications and then there's a closing date that is attached to it. Once that process is done, people have applied. We then have our own internal processes whereby we screen the applications. We first start by having what we call a CCT, which is a central capturing team. They capture all applications which are received by the various districts. We capture whether we don't check the requirements, whether they meet them or not. We capture each and every single one, and each one is assigned a reference number. From that stage, then we move to what we call the District Assessment Committee. That's when then they check whether the particular application meets the requirements. Every application that meets the requirements then goes to the, well, I think second last stage, which is the Provincial Assessment Panel. That's where a team of experts, your soil scientists, engineers, it's quite a big team that has been assembled to go through each and every application as presented by the districts. And then a determination is made whether the particular application is feasible for funding. So that's the whole process, that's how we do it. But at no stage had Green Organic then applied for that particular funding. But because we had met them, we had had their challenges, we had engaged them thoroughly. We even went to the extent of even inviting them to some of our programs. I know they were there at the youth summit that we had in Mangaung. So we've tried to keep them on board with all our programs so that at least we can be able to monitor their progress and assist them. Lastly, Chair, there is no account that is frozen. We can't freeze an account because number one, when that account is open, the account is opened by the beneficiary themselves. It is not opened by the department. So the department does not have a say or right to close, freeze, or do whatever with the account. The account belongs to the person who opened the account. The only thing that they do as a beneficiary is to appoint an official that is designated by the HOD to be a co-signatory on the account, so that when money is released for procurement or payment of services, the co-signatory is able to verify that whatever is being procured is in line with the business plan, is in line with the project implementation plan, and to ensure that we get value for money. So that's all that we do as co-signatory. We don't have a say on how the money is used, when the money is used, everything. I think that is the main purpose of the transfer, to take the power to the beneficiaries so that you don't have officials of the department interfering in issues of procurement. Because for the longest time, there have been complaints that officials of the department force beneficiaries to choose their own service providers and so on and so forth. So to move away from such instances, we said that all power must be given to the beneficiary. They must have total control over the funding and who they appoint. We don't even appoint as the department. The beneficiary themselves appoint the service provider. All we do is do the quality check, whether this person is credible, whether they can deliver the right services, the right goods at the same time, and according to market price. So that is the role of the department, but we really don't have power to freeze an account of a beneficiary. I think, yeah, and the 250,000 chairperson, it was for vegetable production. In the main, it was to buy seeds, it was to buy water tanks, to do water reticulation, to buy shade nets and garden tools on that 5-hectare land which they had a lease for. But you must remember, even the 5-hectare land was far from where they stayed. So it was not even easy for them to monitor that whatever is happening there on a regular. They themselves raised that issue to say that is a bit far and so on and so forth. And the whole issue area was not fenced, so there were issues of security risks identified there. So part of the 250,000 was to address some of those challenges. So eventually, when they apply for the CASP funding at a later stage, at least some of the basics like the soil testing, because that, Tate Twala will correct me, it was virgin soil. Nothing had been done on that soil before. So we had to do your soil test, you had to do your water I don't know your technical terms, Ntate Malete, but to check the water there, the availability of water and so on and so forth. So there was a lot of planning that had to be done before actual production could take place, Chairperson. Thanks.
No, thanks very much for the comprehensive reporting. Any other person that you want to elaborate on the questions that were asked, if there are any that are not yet answered? Judy?
Thanks, Chair. Like I requested, I would request that Tawana to come in just to provide some of the way forwards and where we are with the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair and members. Members, I would start by saying to add to what Mr. Letswara has just said, is that 250,000 was allocated already to be used on the 5 hectares. However, we realized that when we do the survey, there is more that needs to be done that the 250,000 will not be able to capture. So obviously, the survey will show that there's more that needs to be done than what the money allocated will do that. And that money came as a result of intervention from the department when the complaint was lodged with the department. We then looked at available resources, and then that 250,000 was to cover those elements that can do food security, but not the entire whole work, so that when the time comes for the application for CASP, they can then apply to cover the other parts of that. After realizing that 250 will not be able to cover that area, and the area is far, a decision was then made with all stakeholders involved to say, why don't we do backyard gardens? Because they have been doing backyard gardens as individuals. As a cooperative now, the individual 6 members would then do backyard gardens at their houses, so that we can be able to use this 250,000, which will cover the needs in terms of food security, production inputs. That was a decision that was taken by the collective, which is the project itself or the company itself, with the department experts and our extension officer. Flowing from that, upon my appointment about 3 months ago, we were then given a mandate to say that this matter really needs urgent attention. We need to give urgent attention to it. We then called for a meeting in July at our offices in Landley with the group. It was a group of 6 people. Mr. Letswara, the secretary is Mr. Moloi. Yes, not Mr. Twala. Mr. Twala is the other gentleman. So we had a group, a meeting of the 6 remaining members of the group. When we were at the meeting, various issues were raised, and then we had a decision that some decisions, major decisions were taken in that meeting to say for us to go forward, how do we need to implement this project going forward? We then requested that all the beneficiaries with our extension officer should meet in a week's time so that they can see for the 12,500 that was used, who received what for their backyard gardens, to take stock. Of the 6 people that were invited, only 3 turned up. Now, I will explain this, Honorable Chair and members. The group has 2 groups within it. There is what we call a Twala group, which is Mr. Twala and 2 of the members. And then we would have a Moloi group, which has Mr. Moloi and 2 other members. And in today's meeting, we have Mr. Moloi, as well as we have Mr. Mokwena, who both come from the Moloi group. And I did engage Mr. Moloi outside of the meeting to ask, where is the rest of the group? If there's petition, there are petitioners, why is the rest of the group not here? He said, well, it's only 1 or 2 people allowed to come in. I took his word. I didn't know, but I don't think, in terms of the group dynamic, once more, it's one section of the group. So the 3 members of the group arrived at that meeting of stock taking, who did what. My extension officer then contacted us to say, we are battling to get hold of Mr. Moloi on the phone. He's not, him and his group is not here. I then pick up the phone, I spoke to tried to get hold of Mr. Moloi, couldn't get hold of him. I sent him a text message to say, but this is an agreement of a meeting. He didn't respond, he only responded later to say that no, they are not interested in what happened in that meeting. They are going to take up the matter further with the legislature and with the other necessary groupings in terms of petitioning this matter. What was agreed in that meeting was that we are going to get first a stock taking of who got what from the 12,000. We will then buy equipment so that the ones that did not receive from the initial 12,000, whatever they had requested, they can get. So you take stock, okay, you got this, but you didn't get this, so you must get that. The remaining money, which we worked out to say easily it was going to be maybe, say, 100 and give or take 220,000 rand. We're going to then take that money and go and buy production inputs for the 6 gardens of the backyard gardens. In that meeting also, the matter of that has been raised by the committee with regards to changing of directors and not directors. The matter was not discussed because we were informed by Mr. Moloi, again as the secretary, that that's an internal matter. It has got nothing to do with the department. Now, we are extension officers, and as part of our training as extension people is to realize that where there is group dynamics, we need to be able to attend to the group dynamics because that group dynamics can derail the entire project. So we realized that there is that problem. That's why we wanted to go with that suggestion of saying let each and every one produce individually on their plots, and then at a later stage work towards sorting out their internal dynamics so that they can go to the 5 hectares of land and then sort out the 5 hectares of land. Chairperson, on top of that, we'd also agreed that when the minutes become available of that meeting, each and every one who was present in that meeting would sign the minutes. To our knowledge, all the officials of the department have signed the minutes. I speak under correction here, I'll have to check with the extension officer. But from the project, the Moloi group were not interested to sign the minutes because they said the minutes is not a true reflection of what their wishes or hopes are. And that is not how they think the project must carry on continuing. However, the Twala group did sign the minutes or were prepared to sign the minutes because they agreed with that. I also want to bring it to the attention of the committee to say that when MEC Elsabi Rockman intervened at that stage, both these 2 groups were there. The Twala group were happy with the intervention of the MEC and the progress that was going to be made in the intervention put forward. And they are supporting all the processes that has been happening. We are, however, finding it difficult as a department to be able to continue because constantly the Moloi group. Today is this, tomorrow is the other. You come to meetings, you agree. When things have to be signed off, they don't get signed off. So we are constantly finding, and as that happens, there's another process of petitioning constantly. Either the legislature, we are also told that there is cases that has been opened by the Twala group because they believe they've been, by the Twala group, they've made a case that they've been wrongfully removed from the company, register of companies, the subsea, on the subsea, this thing, as members of the directors of that company. They did say that in that meeting that we held with them in July, that they are making a case because they were fraudulently or wrongfully or something like that. I paraphrase here. They are making a case against the Moloi group for being removed. That is, in a nutshell, from what HOD requested me to do, I must respond on. Thank you very much, Chair and the committee.
No, thanks very much. I think it becomes very clear what we are dealing with now. HOD, before I allow honorable members to engage, maybe we've got another presentations to make so that we have the bigger picture. That go on, please.
Thanks, Chair. To answer the question regarding the delay in spending, or rather in implementing the project, like it has been indicated, it is actually the will of the department to implement the project and to ensure that it survives and grows. But the challenge was that every time we are intending to implement the project, because we will receive a request for release of funds from certain individuals within the group, which is split, and then we'll receive a letter saying that the money shouldn't be released. So we were actually installed as a result of the confusion that was happening within the group. And then we also, from the department side, stalled the process after realizing that there is a petition that has been or rather the complaint that has been lodged against the department to the legislature. We wanted to give space for that investigation to be completed. Otherwise, it will seem as if we are diluting their case by implementing when there is an investigation that is being conducted. So that misunderstanding between the group, even yesterday and the last week, we received a request from Twala indicating that as per the resolution of the meeting where we said we are going to implement on their individual backyards, they wanted the funds to be released, but the other group will say, no, don't touch that money, those people have been dismissed. And I think the issue of dismissal is not fair and just because we funded the project, we were given a list of beneficiaries. And if we take them out of the list as beneficiaries, it will seem as if it is theft under false pretense. Their names are used to source funds, and at the end of the day, they are not enjoying that. And regarding training, they were provided training. The extension officer that they accused that is not providing services to them, she took them to Kwakwa where they received training on vegetable production. And then the other support that the extension officer provided to the group was that she took them from Lentley to Bethlehem to come and open an account where the money was deposited, and she also assisted them to transport the garden tools, the 12,000 that was used. She provided transport to transport PPEs, garden tools, and seeds. So the support from the department side through the extension officer is there, and it is being sustained. And yeah, basically, that's the support that the extension is providing to the group. Thank you.
Very much, honorable members. I think we should engage, get clarities where we want. The next thing is ruling in terms of way forward. We are not going to stay here for the whole day. Honorable Makai.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, in my mind, this is very clear now. First of all, seems to be a systemic problem within most of the departments. This project was prematurely awarded without the department doing proper research on the ground of the application to make sure that the feasibility of the amount of money given out or awarded would sustain the beneficiaries. And that I'm saying, there was obviously no environmental impact study done. Then they would have seen that it's virgin soil. They would have known that this has got to be changed, that there should be security. There was no security done or check or viability done by the petitioners themselves to say this is what we need to include. And then the dynamics, and that aside, first of all, that was then afterwards, once it was awarded, we say, okay, what's our plan now? So it seems that the business plan was not thoroughly done. The department did not do due diligence to make sure that there's a feasibility in the business plan, or that the whole project has a feasible future. Then the dynamics changed completely, which by any contractual law should void the contract, because the directives from the petitioner's part completely changed. In other words, the original applicants changed completely to what the contract was with the department. The department then changed the dynamics of the actual project by removing the original application, which was for the 5-hectare land, and using that as a food security project, to saying, well, we've got the money, let's haphazardly just do back garden projects at the moment. So in that aspect, it'll be very difficult to then say, you've changed from original eight beneficiaries to now 4 beneficiaries according to the petitioners, 6 according to the department, and say, but we're only going to supply these 6 backyard gardens, and then divide the remaining amount of money effectively into those back gardens. So the dynamics had completely changed. And there seems to be no feasibility whether those actual back gardens will be conducive to the project either. It doesn't mean just because they are back gardens that soil is necessarily conducive to planting food and food resources. So in my mind, this entire project, it's already taken 2 years, but there seems to be, go back to the drawing board, get from the petitioner side, get your company sorted out first of all, and make sure that the beneficiaries are all on the same page. And then from the department side, actually do your homework properly and do the feasibility so that we can make sure that this project is sustainable. Otherwise, we're just throwing good money after bad. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Makai. You have touched on some of the issues that I wanted to touch on. In terms of production on the backyards, how big is the total square meters of the backyards compared to the 5-hectare land that we are talking about? Secondly, whilst we are doing this backyard gardening of the 6 people, what is happening at the main production site? Are we reticulating? Are we doing the testing and everything else? Or are we saying that we are abandoning the 5-hectare thing, even though we have secured a longer lease of the area? And by the way, how much is the lease up until 2029 that we are told about? Lest we are throwing money away for something that is not going to be productive going forward. When we spoke to yourselves, you indicated as petitioners that you rightfully removed people that were not doing their fiducial work, rightfully. But you, the rightful people, don't sign documents, you don't attend meetings. How do you justify that? Can I just indicate to yourself as petitioners that as the Petitions Committee of the Free State Legislature, it's our duty to ensure that resources of departments bear fruit. And that to have this sitting here, as we are seated here, a lot of resources go into it. And public funding is not going to be wasted under our watch. I'm therefore just saying to yourselves, we are going to adjourn, not adjourn this meeting without really indicating a particular way forward. Because from where we are seated, we want that structure to comply. We want to know, why do you have two groups? You'll respond. And why do you have two groups, the Moloi and the Twala? Why do you have that? And please, assist us. Who said only two people can come and address us? Who said that? Where did you get that information from? Because from where we are seated, we want to hear all sides. We want everybody who's earmarked to benefit from this money must benefit. And from where we are seated, knowing Lindley and the people around that particular area, knowing the level of unemployment, we saw this as an opportunity that can put bread on the table for many people. And this is not something that we take lightly. We want it to see it succeeding. But we also want to see some Americans and elements. And we also want to see proper accountability from the department. We cannot throw money away. We cannot haphazardly change the direction of projects without proper planning and information. Like Honorable McKay said, you are saying to us that you have to do soil testing and everything else on the 5-hectare land, okay? But on this other side, you are taking out money, you are prepared to buy equipment and seeds for backyards. Are the backyards suitable for production? So we need that clarity as proposed by Honorable Mackay, and also getting some answers from the petitioners. Because honestly speaking, we need to save this. We need to save this. I know how passionate the MEC is about food security, and then we cannot drop the ball as seated in this room today. Let me start with yourselves. Who said you can only come, the number of people to attend? Who determined that?
Thank you, Chair. To answer shortly, we received the message I think it was early this month about this meeting, and then we were told that because we know that the meeting was going to take place at Lindley, so due to changes, then the meeting has to come here. So we're all prepared to attend the meeting at Lindley. And then we received a message, I think it was last week, or we were told by the petition administration that we need to come with 2 people. And then this is the very same people who came. And I don't know, Chair, if you will maybe allow me to correct some point, which in a very short way.
You are allowed to respond. They put it there at your doorstep. How do you respond to that?
Thank you, Chair. So firstly, I would like to start with what the Mr. Letsoara have shared with us. Mr. Letsoara, he said 250,000 was just to help, but the PIP doesn't say that, it says something different, because PIP says the money was to develop that 5 hectares, and they are the list of what the department expected us to do with the 250,000, because on the second page of the agreement, there is a page whereby we have to submit every financial or everything done by this money as to their PIP. And so some of the things that Mr. Letsoara didn't mention, this 250,000 was meant for seating, drilling, and equipping 1 borehole with solar, garden tools, shade net, vegetable production input. So you can tell that it was highly impossible for 250,000 to cover this whole thing. And even we have even received the specification from the engineering that states very clear for 1 hectare, we were going to need at least 500 and something thousand to develop 1 hectare. I'm not sure if the petition is in, yes. So the second thing that I want to address, the issue of a lease. We agree that the lease was for 3 years, which was then extended. We engaged with the Nketwana municipality, and then they extended our lease. And our lease, it states that it's a renewed lease. Means we can renew it, and we can even apply when they see us working. Because at this moment, they cannot give us a long years because we haven't done anything at the lease. So they want us to see before. They want to see our work before, so that they can at least give us dilemo tse telele. And then to respond to what Ntate Tawana has uttered, or so Ntate Tawana se buileng. Ka this meeting wa di 30 July. Ha ne re le kopanong ya di 30 July, re ile ra tjho rona ga re ka hobane ne re tshwere the agreement letters whereby we have written all the tools that are in charge of our members who have received it. We insisted on leaving them there because it was said in the meeting that, okay, since we are in possession of those agreement letters, so why don't we just leave it here? And then they insisted that we have to come in a meeting whereby the extension officer will come again while he was there. But then they wanted to wait for other people to be part of the meeting, and then we said it's okay. And then the only thing that made us not to attend, it was because of this issue of wanting us to utilize the money for backyard gardens. It didn't sit well with us because as the conditional fund, I mean, the fund contract states on the PFMA Act, it was very difficult for us to allow the money to be used for backyard gardens, while the document states very well it is for the 5 hectare. So we wanted to be certain with the department, and we asked them to say, okay, if you want this money to be used for backyard gardens, then make a letter that this thing, it's not gonna bind us as green organic, because we know very well as per PFMA Act, our company could either face charges or be erased completely from operating if we agreed to come against this PFMA Act. And if the chairperson will allow me, I will quote those acts for the record. And then I also want to say, Chairperson, that we never denied to attend any meeting from the Department of Agriculture. It was that one that we denied to attend, because what was going to happen or what was happening, it's not what we wanted. We have tried several times to warn the department that this can lead us into this. So if we proceed or we continue or we agree to make it or to utilize this money for the backyard gardens, it was going to be to affect our company. So that was the meeting, and I have already replied to Ntate Tawana the reason why we did not attend the meeting. And the last one is on this one of the directors. I can state again that we have removed those directors according to the to CIPC requirement. We have submitted the letters, and we also brought it to the attention of the district attention. We have sent them, forwarded them the letters, the minutes, every document, we have forwarded it to them. But instead of them coming to us and say, okay, we see that you have changed or you have removed this and this, but we suspect that something is not right, allow us to investigate this or to confirm or to verify that this was done correctly. They didn't do that. Instead, they told us that we are not going to entertain this. And they said it in the meeting that we are not going to entertain this. We know this. We don't know this one. So they wanted us to continue with the old certificate of the old directors. They were not entertaining this one. And we still say that even if they come, we will be ready to prove to them that we didn't do anything wrong. This removal was done correctly, following the right procedure. And I have the document that I can submit. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, you see, the problem of non-attendance, you can't, if you vote with your feet, it will end up here. Secondly, what I also want to indicate is, what the monies that were promised, or the 250,000, not allocated based on the number of people who were making an application. Now that the number is reduced from what the original number to a particular number, what are the ramifications of that? What are the ramifications of that? Like I indicated, we are not going to be long, but I want the department to reflect before I give you honorable members a chance. But what I'm saying, honestly speaking, is the department has noted our concern as a committee. When we say the original plan was the 5 hectare, okay? And I also indicate that you then said to ourselves that when you went deeper into what must happen there at the 5 hectares, few things came up as a challenge. One of them is the piece of land is far away. It will need security. He's speaking about putting up solar and what have you. And if it's far away there where it was, what was the possibility of vandalism? Secondly, the issue of backyards. Does it justify us abandoning the 5 hectares there? If it doesn't, with a plan and intention to go back to the 5 hectare site, but also having the backyard, how do you consolidate that as a department? Can we quickly reflect on that? The honorable members will formulate a way forward in terms of what is going to happen, and will communicate that to yourselves, both the petitioners and the department. HOD.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I think the issues raised by the committee with considering, so what the commitment that I can do is that there's obviously a need for further engagement with the beneficiaries, as it seems at the stage. So we would then just quickly have to go back and look at the issue of the backyard versus 5 hectare and the agreement thereof, and making sure that everybody's on the same page. It happens that whilst there was an initial plan to do A, B, C, and because of whatever circumstances, if there is a need to adjust, such approval is provided so that to the CDE, as long as the right approval, whether in that instance the authority, it's me or it's national, it's just a normal process that happens from time to time in projects. So I think that's the commitment that I can give as the head of department, to say we will then relook to ensure that everybody is on the same page on the backyard 5 hectare matter. We note the concern that why abandon the 5 hectare? It was the plan not to develop the 5 hectare, and which will have a direct bearing on the approved PIP. It then may have to be adjusted. And then I will request quickly the colleagues to talk to there was a question on the hectares, the hectares of the yards versus the 5 hectare. And then there was also a question around food security process, to say for a food security, I think roughly we have anything between 50 and 60 food security projects in one financial year. They would differ from your major projects that are funded with much more higher amount and the rest and so on. But let me quickly allow that the Tswara just under a minute, just to talk to the food security process, and the EIA, whether it's required or not, and then under a minute that the district to talk to the space issues. Thank you.
Before Dajel Tswara comes in, HOD, can we add this element of to say, what do you envisage spending on the 5 hectare in the long term? For us to say, this thing, you have invested into this food production, what is your projection in terms of development of that area, and what form of security at the end of the day are you thinking of bringing up there to prevent vandalism and that? Honorable Mackay.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to your request to prevent this reoccurring, could you possibly provide timelines? Because that was one of the biggest problems with this project. So we need timelines. How long is it going to take to resolve this? When would you expect to resolve this? When will the new plan be put in place, etc.? Give us a timeline. Thank you.
And whilst you are doing that, responding, Dihlabeng and your team, can you give a commitment whether you want to be inclusive? in ensuring that we rescue this marvelous idea. Are you willing as beneficiaries to open doors for this other Twala group when the department is going to work with all of you to ensure that this thing becomes a success? We have noted your insistence on you have followed procedures to remove them. We have noted that. We also want to check whether there are no procedural, legal way of bringing them back, because we want it to work. And whether you are willing to go into a meeting with the department to say, we are sitting in this department because this is of our interest, and then we want to see this thing working. That those will be some of the things that we want you to close off with. Commitment going forward. What is your way forward? The department can please, Naledi, sir.
Oh, thank you, Chairperson. It's quite difficult to speak after commitments have been made by your boss. But I think, first of all, Chairperson, I think we need to appreciate one thing, particularly when it comes to the 250,000 for the 5-hectare piece of land. When the department transfers such amounts, it's not necessarily to say that production will start as soon as the money enters into the account. We've got what we call planning. And some of those funds which were allocated to green organic, they had to go towards planning, which will include, honorable member, your soil testing, your siting, because you can't just go and do a borehole anyway. You need to first do the siting so that you can determine whether there's water there and so on, and if the water is sufficient. So that money was not necessarily to say that it's all for production input, you can start immediately. There were supposed to be some certain planning stages which were supposed to occur before any production can take place. That's the first one. The second issue, reality is that before they even got the 5-hectare land, all of them, they were doing backyard gardens. All of them. All of them were doing backyard gardens. That's where they started. I think that's one thing maybe Ntatemulu is not saying to the committee, is that they started with backyard gardens. And the department itself, once we have approved on this 5-hectare land, we can't go back alone and take a decision to say that we are going to change now, you do backyard gardens. It was upon their request, upon their letter of deviation, they wrote to the department to say that we no longer want to do this 5-hectare production, we want to go into individual backyard gardens. So it was not a brainchild of the department. It was something which was brought by the beneficiaries to the department. The department considered it based on the fact that already they had been doing this thing of backyard gardens before. But I think based on the commitments that the HOD has made, we'll have to then work around it. But like I said, I mean, of course, the 250 might not be enough to go fully fledged production on that particular 5-hectare. But mainly that money was supposed to be for planning, so that when you go to the second phase, then you can start with the question of implementation. So you can, for a lack of a better word, you can say it's a multi-year, it could have been a multi-year kind of project that was going to happen. It wasn't going to be a once-off thing and then we turn around and go. It would not be sustainable anyway. So we would still have to come back and ensure that we invest into the project. Thanks, Chair.
HOD, you only have 3 minutes to close.
No, actually, Mr. Letshwara did cover some of it. I would just like to say that there is a commitment, whilst, whilst we'll be doing the backyard gardens, because they are sustainable and they have been backyard farmers, whilst they are doing that with this remaining money, the 5 hectares will receive attention with all the necessary plannings that will go into it. They have to apply for funding when the period opens. They're just closed now recently. They've got to apply, then we will be following all the planning processes, because then that will be a cost project and not a food security project, and it will have bigger budgets, which will then, but it must follow the processes for them to get allocated. So the 5 hectares is not, and then the backyard gardens will be producing in order to support the 5 hectares, which can become a secondary, cooperative, or it can still remain a primary, but then the backyard garden supports it through various aspects. Thank you.
Quickly, Chair, I think the other issue that is important, the removal of the members, it is something that is worth going back and just ensuring it, because obviously we have interest that things must be done lawfully and fairly to those that we are funding. So it will also be an interest to the department to just ensure that the right thing happened. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we can be as fast as the corporation that happens from the beneficiaries. If they cooperate, I can then make a commitment of end of September that this matter would then be completely resolved, and the committee must indicate if end of September is acceptable. But again, I'm just making that disclosure that we will be as fast as we are allowed. We have instances where we have made commitments of a month to deal with where there's group dynamics, and 1 year later, we did not move, because we come to these platforms, they are saying we are willing to work together. The moment we go to the next level, or the moment we move out of the meeting, then it's a different ballgame. So the commitment from my side on that one, it's end of the month. And the last point that I just want to indicate, but it's not really relevant necessarily answering a question, is that you realize that when you fund a particular beneficiary, the actual long list of the things that could be done, in many instances you find that long list is very long. And sometimes you are having the argument to say, should we fund lesser people and make sure that everybody that we fund receives everything? Or should we be able to try and put beneficiaries at some point so that they are also able to come in and assist themselves, whilst there's always a possibility, like Naledi indicated, that we may continue funding further. Because when you talk to beneficiaries, they will also indicate, I need security, I need the transport to take these things there, I need this, I need this, I need this. So the long list actually, security may be one of them that is not included, but when you look at completing the full, so that you can then be able to say, for the coming so many years, this institution will be secured and they will be able to do what they are supposed to do. A tractor is needed, they must not be hiring the machinery, they must not be doing this, they must be doing this. So I'm just saying the question about what is needed still, it's not just a question that we need to answer for these beneficiaries, but it's a policy position that as government we need to ponder around and say, but what is the best way that as government we can make a difference in this regard? Thank you very much.
No, thanks very much. Honorable Khoban, I've noted your hand and welcome. I know you were not well according to our discussions yesterday, but the fact that you are here, thank you very much for honoring our meeting. Honorable Khoban.
Thanks, Chairperson. Even though I arrived late, but I just caught the discussions with a serious concern. My concern is around the group having a problem of division. That's the serious element of vandalism that comes with all these group projects in this province of Free State. And secondly, even though the department can make commitment and provide from their side, the critical issue is that are they not throwing the money in the drain? Where, what level of commitment, according to their assessment, are they seeing from the group of beneficiaries? So that as you throw this thing, you shouldn't have a situation where the committee, the platform of the committee, is used to unlock maybe what the concerns that you might be having of trading carefully to fund something that we suspect might fail because there's no clear security. The first security that has to be provided in a project is beneficiaries themselves. And if you remember the project of Senegal, people who vandalized in that project were beneficiaries themselves. And once we have this type of a situation where they're already divided, the first thing that comes as a concern is the investment that you put there. Now, if another group is outside and you put investment, are you not suspecting that those people might come and vandalize because now they want to sabotage the ones that are left? So my input, Chairperson, would be that as the department is also considering the investment in the project, but they must also make a sober assessment of the security of the investment that they are putting in that project, so that it's not something that goes down the drain. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks very much. HOD, our request is, as you proposed, whatever happens, can you please provide us with progress report by the end of September, whatever happens. Whether there was cooperation or no cooperation, we would love to know what happened between now and then. I think you have heard what Honorable Khoban indicated. He just added what I've checked with you. Can we close, please? Dihlabeng, your closing remarks. What is what commitment are you giving to us as government of the Free State? As Petitions Committee, way forward from your side.
Thank you, Chair. Ke rata ho qala ka ho amohela so HOD a se hlahisitseng the commitment a e entseng, and we are ready for any action. And one thing, Chair, I just want to raise. It will be very difficult, as we have suggested, Chair, it will be very difficult for us to cooperate again with the former directors of our company, since our conflict has been a very devastating disagreement. So I don't see it working, or I don't see it will sustain this company further. It can happen that right now maybe we work together or we agree to work together, but we won't last in the long run. So we will end up doing the very same thing now and then. So we don't have a problem with this very 250,000 that has already been invested or deposited into our NPC. We can and we are willing, if the department can do the right thing, to share it with them, and then we let go of them, and then we keep the NPC. Or, because firstly, this one of cooperating together, it won't, I don't see it working, Chair. And I also want to indicate, sir, as we have
Can I do as a belief in the real farm?
in,
Go kene hano.
okay.
What is your position in the NPC?
I'm a secretary.
And we are making this strong stance, we are taking this strong stance without engaging the other members.
This is what we have discussed, Chair. As I said, we met with the department on the 3rd of July.
No, thanks very much. All I'm saying is, you are here representing a team.
Yes, sir.
You are engaging with us as government.
Correct.
We want a word from yourselves, not from you as an individual.
Correct, sir.
And you as an individual is taking up a strong position without consulting other members. I find it very difficult. I really find it very, very difficult. So, take it from us. I don't think the department must even think of dividing that money. Because that money was given to a project, not to individuals.
Correct.
HOD, do whatever it takes to secure this project, right? To secure this project. Individuals that do not want to participate going forward, they must take their jackets and go home. I said when we started here, we have a very serious problem in this country, in the province, of unemployment. And people must not take food security as something to play with. That is my closing remarks. Thank you very much. This meeting is closed. Thank you very much. I think, is there anything? Sir. Can you provide them with something while the other team is coming in? Is there food? Not yet, okay. You are all invited. The next group, please. lebitso la ka ke Jafta Mokoena, ke modulasetulo wa kopano ena. Mme ke batla ho nka sebaka sena he ho amohela bohle ba leng teng kwano. Baahi ba meqileng Ficksburg, le lefapha la roads transport le teng kwano mona. You are all welcomed. Ha ke hlalose he hore nna lebitso la ka jwalo ka ke hlalositse ke Jafta Mokoena, ke nna modulasetulo, ke tlotla e kgolo ho nna ka nnete. Mme Phoshi. Ditho tsa committee and our honorable members will introduce themselves. Others have run quickly, they will be back. But I think whilst they are busy with those other issues, we must start. Takala musema ne humme, ai tlhalosa hore na mme ke mang.
Ke a leboha, Chairperson. Nna ka lebitso ke mme Amelia Chabalala. Ke a leboha.
Thank you very much.
Ntate ke Motete Kgwabane, strateng ba mpitsa Oupa, ke setho sa committee.
Honorable Khwabane, Strateng Aupa. Thank you.
Dumelang, ka lebitso ke Nthabiseng Kgarekwe, ke setho sa committee ena ya petition. Ke a leboha.
And thank you very much. It is important to note that we are going to have legalities. This is the committee of the legislature, and people who talk in this committee, they either take oath or an affirmation. Hasimatlang kamare he. Re ikana hore re tlo bua dinnete fela. A ke re ga ba tlo tlameletsa batho ka ntho tse seng tsona, re batla ho bue dinnete. So I'm going to start with the department. I hand over the department to Mepseletso to administer either oath or affirmation. The leader of the team, Otlai Makamautu, when I hand over to Mrs. Welcome, by the way, department. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Mepseletso.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath, please.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
Muzalfa Patrick Molutsi.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Ntate Molutsi.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Please just lift your mic. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
Check the oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
I do.
Please state your full names for the record.
I am Vincent Daga.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, sir.
Can I check, are you the only two or the entire team?
In fact, it's the entire team from the region.
Thank you, Ntate Molutsi. Good afternoon, ma'am. Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please state your full names for the record.
My name is Ntwaki Kulu.
Do you swear what you're about to tell the committee is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Menswaki, please switch off your mic. Thank you.
Good day, Chairperson. Good day, everyone.
Will you be taking an oath or an affirmation?
An oath, please.
And do you consider this oath binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Please state your full names for the record. Do you swear what you're about to tell the committees the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, Sir Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mepselezo. The other honorable member has arrived. Can you introduce yourself, honorable member? Makai.
David Mackay, I'm also part of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Re tla ka mona ka hlakong lena la batho ba tletlebang he. Ke mang moetapele ka moo? A kere ka moseuane ba se ba itlamme go ba tlo bua nnete. So re tla ka nqena re utlwe hore na ke mang moetapele wa sehlopha sena ya tla teka ditaba ka bobatsi le bohle ba tlo bua ba tlameha hore ba nke kano kapa ba itlame hore ba bua tlo bua dinnete fela. Ke mang moetapele wa baholo ba ka? Haruf mane ke mang moetapele ka mo? Ke a leboha ntate, re tla bua Sotho nna le wena he. A ko theolo tse tsebeng tseno he re tsebe ho utlwana. E theole. Thank you, wa nkutlwa jwale ke. Thank you papa. Ke wena fela a tlo bua ka mo kapa batsamai mmoho le bona ba tlo bua? Kaofela bona. Okay ntate, ha re lebohe. Ha re ka le ka wena ha re ka le ka wena he ntate ba batla latela. Mepselezo.
Ke a leboha bahaibe kgabane. Ke le ntate Thabo Shweshwe.
Ema pele ntate go nkise kano moholwane. Unje na wa mbona? Wa mbona? Oh, ntate okay. Ona go kgabane. E ka re kwena tla re thusa mona hore baholwane bona ba nke kano. A go re thusa ntate wa ka. Le tlabe se le tataiswa ke ntate ka mane. O fitlhela qetellong le tla for hana jwale jena ke kopa motho e mong le madutse mona theole ntho ena tsebeng a kgone ho utlwa hantle. Ke go utlwana hantle jwale ke re. Good. O tla mamela go nna ntate o re ntate o so molatela jwale ke a leboha. Ona le khona.
Ke kopa o bue lebitso la hao ka botlalo.
Ke ntate Thabo Shweshwe ho tlhana le village committee.
How ka buela haholo ho se buela hole se ha utlwahala hantle.
Ke ntate Thabo Shweshwe ho tlhana le village committee le Franshoek.
O itlama hore o tla bua nnete ka pela committee mme nnete fela haeba ho jwalo o phamisele letsoho la le tona hore Modimo nthuse ke bue nnete.
Ke tlo bua se hlahellang se ke tla se bua community ya Modimo nthuse ke bue nnete.
Ke a leboha. Ona le mong hape a tlo bua.
Nkan kano kaofela ntate ha re ka le mane plan memane bo so emapa a ko ema moholo wa ka. Ke a leboha he ntate Kgobane ke bua le wena mosemane.
Kopa o kgone ho buela ka hara se buela ho leso o bue mabitso hao ka botlalo le sebaka se o hlang sona kapa karolo ya e bapalang ka ra sehlopha sa hao.
Ke a leboha Miko Kgabane.
Ke teboho le phatsi. Ha o utlwahale o buele ka hara yona. Haeba ho kgonahala go o ka etsa o dutse fatshe ba ntla kgona ho utlwahala o dutse fatshe.
Ke a leboha Miko Kgabane ka lebitso ke teboho le phatsi.
Ke a leboha. O itlama hore o tla bua nnete ka pela committee mme nnete fela haeba ho jwalo phamisa letsoho la tona hore Modimo nthuse ke bue nnete.
Modimo nthuse ke bue nnete ka nnete e felletseng.
Thank you, ke a leboha. Le feletse ba tlo bua.
Re nke wa le tlo bua le babedi fela bo ntate ba bang ha ba tlo bua kere. Thank you very much. Re tla e tshwara hona mono. Ho tla bua bontate bana ba bedi ba nkileng kano he. Ge le committee ena ya mmuso wa Freistad. Re a leboha ha le tlisitse tletlebo ya lona ho rona. Re a tshepa re tla ba boemong ba hore re sebetsa mmoho le lefapha le dutseng ka pela lona mono bothata bona bo rarollwe. Ntate Shweshwe o ntso o dutse jwalo go tobetse motšhini ono ka pela ho ka mona e ke o kgantshe jwalo o bo so qoqa ka bokgutshwanyane fela hore na tletlebo ya lona e reng hantle bothata ba lona ke bofeng.
Ke a leboha ka nka setulo again hape bontate le bomme. Ke le ntate Thabo ho hla Naledi Franshoek o kentse bo Nebo. Re na le diphephetso tse matla haholo ho saeteng la tsela ya rona. Re na le diphephetso tse matla haholo tseleng ya rona haholo ha pula e nele haholo. Re ba le mathata hore re ka thola di-ambulance le batho ba kulang hore na di finyella jwang ho rona ka baka la tsela e senyehilweng ke pula. E reng le hona jwale re nang le bothata ba hore re sitwa le ho ya ditoropong ka baka la tsela tse mpe tsa rona tse re sa tholeng di-service ho hlaha ho rona ho ya mapolasing. Re na le creche e teng hona polasing. Ha batho ba lefapha ba ya ho rona ba sokola because re na le mathata a tsela e senyehang haholo ha pula ena. Ha re thole di-service tse hantle tsa ditsela. So ne re kopa hore na re ka tlo thola thuso ya hore re thole hore tsela ya rona e be hantle. Re na le ntho tse ngata tse batsi ka polasing tsa ha rona. Re na le ntho tse ka reng di-guest house. Ha re tla le baeti ba re tlhakelang ba sokola because le bana ba rona dikolo di kwetswe. Last mona se khala ka pula ena e la feta bana ha ba kgone ho finyella hae ke dikoloi la ba robeha ya nkwa ke breakdown e sa finyeletsa bana ho ya hae. Ha tlameha hore re nke terekere re nang le yona polasing ho lata bana mo bateng ba sa kgone ho finyella hae ka baka la tsela tse mpe. Ke a leboha ka.
No, ha re lebohe ntate. Can you switch off the mic, please? Asuna msa go thuse tima go thuse mo. Thank you pa. Honorable members just arrived. Thank you very much. Ugabulela me Romang. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Modula Studio. Kina ontebetse kile ka itsebisa.
Ora ka batumba.
Thank you.
Okay. If that is the case, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Okay. Artsilele Msuwani, Honorable Kana Omang.
Ke a leboha modula setulo ke Honorable Foko wa committee yona ena. Ke a leboha.
Thanks very much. Department, we are here because of S384 and S385. Residents have indicated their frustrations about the roads, the two roads or rather. Can you quickly respond to that in terms of what is the way forward? What are we doing about those roads and that? Honestly, because I think, yeah, let's hear it from you, Advocate.
Ke lebohe ntlo e kgabane mme a ke tswela pele ke tla re mona ke na le be ileng hore ke di road superintendent tsa sebaka sona seo be ileng hore ba tla ba hlalosa hore na ho etsaetse eng ka nako eo ya dihola hore ditsela be di tlohe mme le hore na rona re le lefapha ke mehato efeng e re ikemiseditseng hore re tlo enka hore re etse tsela eo e be tsela e leng hore e tla be le hore e a kgona ho sebediseha hore setjhaba seo sa ka moo jwalo ka bontate ba le teng mona ba tle ba tsebe hore ba sebedise tsela eo. Re a tseba hore ka nako ya dikgohola re bile le mathata a mangata, mme phephetso e nngwe ya rona e bile hore ka nako eo metsi a ile a hohola mo ne re kentse dipeipi hore di tsamaise metsi, mme e nngwe ya dintho tse re tshwanelang hore di etse ke ho fumana dipeipi tse ntjha tse e leng hore re tlo tla di kenya hore di tlo kgona hore di thuse hore metsi a kgone ho feta a ska a hohola. Mme ka botlalo ke tlo kopa mme Ntswakixulu mona hore ebe yena e leng hore o tla hlalosa hore na ho etsahetse jwang, mme mehato e re tukuka ke efeng. Ke a leboha modulasetulo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Ntate ke a leboha. Ka tseleng ya S3A4 re na le bothata ba metsi a mangata haholo, ho na le dinoka. So mo re kentseng di-pipe teng, di-pipe di le tsa tsamaya ke metsi, some of them di tsamaile ke metsi. So se re tshwanelang ho se etsa as department ke hore tlamehile re etse re outsource dintho hore re tle re kgone ho lokisa bothata bo re nang le bona. Ka tseleng ya S385 ke tsela e nang le matlapa haholo, ha ke tsebe ke tla hlalosa matlapa keng, ke majwe. So mo teng ho hlokahala hore re thole equipment e kgolo hore re thube majwe ao. Re la nna ra etsa mesebetsi ya temporary ya nakwana hore re lokise mono, re tlise kwa re kwale mo, but as soon as pula ena fela ya tloha because ha e kgone ho dula mo because ke leshu. Ka 384 also ke kgutlela ka 384 ke tsela e leng hore re ntse re maintainer kaofela tsela tse ntse re di maintainer, re ntse re etsa blading ho tsona. Bothata haholo fela ke metsi mo e nang le di-pipe. Tsela yona ka boyona ke dumela hore maemo a teng a hantle hona jwale, ya tsamaya.
Ke a leboha modulasetulo, ke tla fa Ntate Ntaka e leng yena acting chief director hore le yena a hlalose hore na mehato ke efe.
Pila ke yena Ntate, ke a leboha Ntate Ntaka. Ne ke ra aba sa kenyeletsa element ena kapa yona Ntate issue bo so kenyeletsa tabena ya hore mme o buile ka hore ho batla metjhine e tla e thusa, ho batla di-peipi tse kgolo tse tla di sebetsa mona. A ke le keng time frame hleng ba gaetso hore re process ya rona ho kae hana jwale in terms of those two critical areas. Thank you. Chief Whip.
Kinke monyetla mme a ke utlwa ha so bue. Ha so bue.
No.
Kore why ke hobane ke tshujwalo mme o re 384 ya tsamaya ina le mathata a metsi. 385 ya tsamaya ina le mathata a majwe. Ha pula ena ntho ba itsetseng metsi a fihla lona ka baka la majwe ya tsamaya. O tlo ha ba ning ke yona karabo eo ya mme, it means ba qetile ha ona ntho re tla hla re bua. That ke ka ho ke reng a bo so bue a ke re bontate ba bua hore re na le bothata ba hore tsela e mpe ha di tsamaye, to an extent that critical services are not accessed. Now, what we are expecting to get is challenges that are faced by the road, and what the plan is in place for each road as a mitigating factor to deal with the challenge raised. That's why I'm saying I was expecting Mayor Ntwana Ibuaki introduction. In this road, these are the issues that we have discovered as challenges, and these are the things that we think we need to do to deal with that. And then it comes to the area that you raise, the timelines. Then go to the 385. 385, these are the challenges, and these are the issues that we think we need to do to correct those problems that are there, and these are the timelines. I think that's what we're expecting.
No, thanks very much. That follow-up, would have followed up after the chief engineers have spoken. I think they should indicate that the chief engineer is next on line, so he will try to respond to those. We'll take it further from there if he's not addressing what you have raised now. Thank you very much. Tulapilepa.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, honorable members. Based on the plan regarding the backlog that is encountered this region, Tamufusanyana, including the roads that has been listed here, from the side of the province, this financial year, there is allocation of money for regraveling. We know this road, the assessment that was done by the region, they identified that we need to do the spot regraveling. We talk about the 36 kilometer of this road, S384 and also S385. The scope that was identified was spot regraveling. It was also heavy planing need to be done, and also installation of pipes. The current pipes that are there is 600, which are not enough. That's why most of the time when we got the heavy rains, some of those pipes are blocked and washed away. So when we got the service provider under regraveling, some of the pipes need to be replaced. Like we come out with a 900 diameter, not 600, which is still there, which normally easy to be blocked during the flood. And we also indicate that we mustn't wait until we appoint a service provider. Although the department is prioritizing regraveling, very soon there's gonna be advertisement for regraveling. The DDG is gonna come in on that one. So we're gonna run concurrent programs, Chairperson. We got a program of Letsima, where regions, district, they are also working together with the people that are affected in that area. The Letsima must kickstart very soon, because I believe that the graded TLP can be provided, and then we can see the operators in that area if they're available. Then we implement Letsima program, working together, addressing the critical so that we don't affect the access for the kids to go to school while they can do the blading. Then when it comes to the regraveling, that's what we are gonna be able to list also this road as a first priority from the region. But the head office is prioritizing to appoint the regraveling contractors, which DDG will highlight when it's gonna be done. In terms of the pipes need to be procured, we receive a request memo from Ficksburg, which they indicate that the pipes need to be procured. From here, we'll check the head office, how far with the request memo to be processed, so that we can able to communicate with the region when the order's been generated. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Makai.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to make sure that I understand this correctly now. So the department has obviously done the investigation. They've gone out, and according to the submission, they do take onus of the road that falls under their department. My question is, will this road now fall under the, because I know that there's been a request for the Free State's gravel roads to be declared a disaster. Will this fall under that? We've requested the department in the Infrastructure Committee to declare the Free State roads a disaster. Will this fall under that? Will it be resolved? How far is that request done? And then also just onto this request, what has been, I take note of all the investigation, everything that's been done, but there still seems to be a safety problem. So what safety requirements have you, so that the scholars are protected, that the cars are, so that there's a safety environment around this, because this seems to be a safety issue regarding the roads. So what have you done? What measures have been put in place to secure that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The department will respond.
Thank you, Chairperson. In terms of the safety currently, that was done on the road to make drivable, as Rob Soup indicated, we normally provide the blading just to keep the road safe and also opening the wing so that the water not stand on the road. That is a temporary measure that we are providing. There was a blading that was done somewhere in May 2025, and also somewhere the one of the S885. We also did in September 2025. So they're normally able to got a plan in the program just to keep the safety on the roads, not leaving the roads until we got a complaint. So there is a planning can take place, but the Letsima program is the one that the district will initiate so that it can work together with the affected farmers, because some of those safety that need to be provided, it needed operators. She can provide a TLP, maybe she's gonna need an operator to operate the TLP so that we can attend the drainages. Those are the safeties that we can able to provide for the meantime. In terms of the disaster, yes, we submitted entire province to be declared the disaster need to be considered. But for the roads that we can confirm, we cannot pronounce now until we can check what the list that was been submitted. But the submission was submitted. We are still waiting the COCTA to come and indicate has been declared the certain regions as a disaster. We cannot able to pronounce now. Thank you.
No, thanks very much. When last was the maintenance done on the road date? When last was that done? And when was this incident where the learners could not reach home? When was it? Where learners could not reach home because of rain and what have you? Is it this year? Is it last year? And since then, what have we done as a department to ensure that this does not happen again? Because I mean, to have children on the other side and the family on this side, it's traumatizing, man. It's trauma. Honorable Mackay?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to add on to your question, once that's answered, could they give us a possible timeline of when this would be complete? Because this is very important information, and can it be communicated to the community as well, and what the plans are, so that they're involved with the decision and they know exactly what's going on, because that's part and parcel of this issue, that they're not informed of what you've been doing. Thank you.
Honorable Fogo?
Ke a leboha, modulasetulo. E re ke check-e le wena modulasetulo, a ke batle ho e botsa department straight taba ena, ha e pote ho wena modulasetulo. Ha re shebeng pele hore na sesosa sa tsela eo hore e be jwalo ka ha e le jwalo ke eng? Hobaneng ha ke botsa potso e modulasetulo, ntate o hlalositse mane hore ho etsahala eng moo. Department e hlalositse hore ho etsahala eng. Empa ha re fihle ntlheng ya hore na ke metsi a pula a etsang tsela e be jwalo ka nako ya rona jwale re ya dipuleng tse matla, kapo ke metsi a noka a etsang jwalo ka hlalositse hore ena e nngwe S385 bothata ba teng ke matlapa moo. Ha re tsebe kapo ke letlapa le felletseng le batlang hore le tshwatluwe hore ho etswe tsela, lebaka la hore ska ra e diverta ha ntse re etsa ntho eo ke lefeng, le lebaka la hore re kwale noka yane kapo metsi ao a etsang hore tsela yane e fele ke lefeng. Ha re ka re hlalosetswa hantle hore na ke noka kapo ke ke eng e etsang hore tsela eo e be jwang? Ke a leboha modulasetulo.
Thank you, that. I'm sure the questions are clear. Advocate?
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me talk to the issue of the timelines. What we are aiming at is that as soon as in the next week or so, we'll be advertising the bid for regraveling in the entire province. The aim is that in each and every region, we should have a pool of contractors who are then going to be dealing with these disastrous roads, if I may put it that way. And so that by the end of September, before we get into the rainy season, we'll have made headway in terms of having made sure that the roads are safe. And so this particular road, when we talk about regraveling, we're talking about instances where we have to put material on the road. We'll have to go and fish for the material and put it on the road, after which we'll be doing then a blading of those roads. So there's a need, as already explained, in terms of the rocky area that we find there. We'll have to deal with the rocks themselves before we can put more gravel on the road to render it safe. So when it comes to timelines, by the end of September, we'll be coming back to report to the communities that we have appointed people, they've already started. Because once the rainy seasons begin, it would be a disaster to even start working on those roads. I'll give over to my colleagues to comment on the other questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Metabe. Rite ho tabe ntate la botsa gore sesosa e ka ba ka eng hore tsela e be maemong ao a leng ona hona jwale. Sesosa ka mono ke di weather patterns ska se ga bona matsatsing ana pula ka tsela e nang ka yona ha e ne ka tsela e ne ina ka yona before. So e nngwe ya dintho hape e etsang hore ho be jwalo, especially section tse bontate ba buang ka tsona. Re aware ke nana ke section tse tharo batlang thusa. Ke section mo o tswileng di-pipe tse yang ka nokeng. Ke pele mane, I think about 2-3 kilometers in Madi. Ha o ntse o tswela pele ka yone ka reng o shebile Rosendal. E na le goreng eroded because jwanong metsi a sa tsamaya hantle ho yona. Sesosa se seng sa ntho tseno. Siting ya ka e ka hodimo ka thabeng ka mane. Di-farmera tseno di entse di-water windrows gore metsi se ba directetse ka baka la di-weather patterns le bona ha rena ba tshwara phoso because pula the way e nang ka teng e eroda masimo a bona. So ba try hore ba control metsi. Jwale ha ba controller a tla ka tsiding ha sa pipe mo le teng a sa movela mo se nang di-pipe then a eroda tsela mo ha sa kgona lo tsamaya di-water channels ntseng. So ke se seng sa se entseng hore re be le problem tseleng tsena. Ha se yona fela di ngata ke nana ke na le tsela tse 9 tse ke nang le problem tsena mo ke lekang hore ke dule le agriculture teng le di-farmers to say as and when ho ba le di-changes tse jwalo because agriculture ke party e fanang ka di-plans hore no metsi a lona tsamaya so checking ho ntho satellite and lore weather pattern e jwang ke bona ba ba assistant ba re involve re be part ya that plan hore le rona ha re etsa regraveling is very expensive. So hore ha re etsa regraveling re tsebe hore pipe tsa rona no jena tlamehile di move di kae and plans tsa bona ba di tsa ka nako efeng. So ke engwe ya dintho re lekang hore re bue agriculture le di-farm unions because ka se bule individual farmers re bua le farm unions to say guys assist us ha lena le di-farms tse jwalo se ke ra bona se re tlo sebetsa tseleng re be le problem. So hape tsela eno I think about 2021-2022 bontate ba ka nthusa netse ke le mona I think 2022 ne ke etsa regraveling tseleng ke dutse about 6 months tseleng e le mpe from R26 ke batla le kwala ka Armanyane Ficksburg P70/2. So ke sebeditse tseleng that was the worst section eno ebile ne le madi no sa tsa ha o nile pula ne tsa fit. So I tried to ke sebetse but because my budget ne le limited re share budget le other regions. So ka fella I think kilometer 8 hona mono ka fella mono ka baka la hore ine se budget ya ka ile exhausted. So the plan was to re tswele pele re se ke ra emela another tender create in house
So we try to raise it in-house, but ho fumana jwanong re na le mathata a mangata hona Ficksburg. Ho tlameha ke lo sebetsa bo peka ke address tsela tseno because now tsona ne di le worse. Ne di le madi and tsona di na le traffic volume e ngata. So ke engwe ya di delays tse leng tsa ba teng and then le ka tlokolane. So office E1 e caterang that district or that local municipality and then haina the resources tse enough. So tlamehile ke source the district tse ding like your Bethlehem, Ficksburg, Forestburg jwalo. Ke leke hore ke assiste Ficksburg. But what we did now this financial year lemme hona for yona special tsela eno le 473 mara e holenyane pedinyana o lona. Ke dikile hore ke kenye di 900 because now mo di tsela tsa lona di leng teng hona le thaba metsi a theoang thabeng a theoa ka speed se hodimo. And then boso ba di waterways tsena e leng tsona tse affectang tsela tsa rona. And nka se blame entirely maburu no ke lona jwanong e le tisa metsi ka ra tsela le bona ntse affecta production ya bona ka mana. So ke tse ding tsa dintho ke batla ho ya mane hore ke eng mabaka a bakang tsela e qetele e le tjena. So we are currently attending it. The last time mchini ulka mono to attend mara inspection re etsa weekly, maybe twice a week because ke sections in. Re a tseba the current status sa tsela eno ho jwang. Yona ntse re tlo attenda mara our plan ko re ka se emele regraveling tender. Re tla tswela pele ntse re sebetsa ho yona. Ho ila ba fela le hiccups because our grader limits. Ne re batla hore e sebetse winter that section because during summer season ha o kgone ho sebetsa hantle ka baka la metsi a tswang ka thabeng. So metjhini ya rona ya staka mo. And the last time bontate ba ka attest to this hore metjhini ya ka short ka mo. That was me. Ka hane ke ka mo. So ke yona ntwe e ne ke ka hore ke go arabela le potso ya ntate. Mara yona re tlo attend. As soon as ke fumana the pipes ke tlo re tlo attend ke a tseba le batla timelines but jalo ke tshwarehile because e etswa ke department e etswa ke supply chain. So mara as soon as di fihla ke tlo attend. Mara for now re tla nne re tswele pele ka heavy bleeding se ka ntse re etsa. Thank you.
Dave, Honorable Mackay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just a comment towards the department. When they're doing their stormwater planning now with the farmers, etc., I think it will be worthwhile investigating the problem that, or the amount of increase of water runoff from the Naledi housing project. Because the absorption of that would have been much higher before, and most of the road problems have come from that. So it's worthwhile just checking what the stormwater drainage over there is, so that stormwater drainage can fit in with the farmers and run off successfully away, because otherwise you're going to end up with a problem with the water running into the Naledi housing project and then deteriorating the road further. So because and this is just a closing comment, because before the road was actually constructed, the stormwater challenge was never investigated properly, and no alignment was made for the stormwater challenge that comes off from housing developments. It's one of those systemic things that is never concluded properly and never involved in planning properly, that what the environmental impact would be from a housing project and the surface runoff of the water, especially in rainy seasons. Thank you.
No, thanks very much, Honorable Mackay. Advocate, I think we have provided answers. I just want to indicate that the timeline issue might be a problem for now. But as a committee, we would love to have an indication come the end of September. Please, just indicate to ourselves in terms of where we are. Another thing that I request from your staff in around Ficksburg is to really communicate and keep people affected by those roads in terms of informed, in terms of their plans and what they think will be happened when. And that collaboration that was reflected on in terms of, I think I had the word Litsema here, that working together will be able to solve these particular problems or attend to them quite massively in terms of trying to resolve, because all of us are affected, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a kid, whether you are an ambulance driver, whatever. All of us are affected. So all of us must go there and work together. In conclusion, ha ke qetela bontate, ga leboha le tlisitse taba ena kwano. Re tla sebetsa mmoho le lefapha le rona re le komiti ho bona hore maemo a tsela tseno a ntlafala. Molemong wa hore basebedisi ba tsela eno kaofela ba une molemo ho yona. Ka nnete re rata hore re tanking ho lona he ha le ile la ipha nako ya hore le ke le hlahise taba ena re bone hore lefapha le a sebetsa moo. Mme re lebohele boitelo ba lefapha le boiteko ba lona hore bo atla moketing ona wa rona wa ho lokisa tsela eno, mme tsela eo e tla loka. Re leboha haholo. Re a leboha. Enkosi. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned. Ra le mema he papanyana e teng ka nqa.